I'm Justin Ziegler of JZ Helps of Florida Injury Law Firm. Today I'm going to talk about injury and accident claims at Publix Supermarkets in Florida. As you may know, Publix is the largest supermarket chain in Florida. This video is going to focus on why Publix cases are different than claims and injury claims against other supermarkets. Now, there's a ton of law to know about injuries and accident claims against supermarkets, but I'm primarily going to focus on the differences between Publix accident claims. One of them is that Publix has the money to pay your claim, no matter how big your claim is. You know, if you were to get hurt at a smaller supermarket, for example, like a mom and pop, a one store, there's always a chance that they don't have insurance. But when you're dealing with Publix, they have the money to pay even the largest claim. Lately, Publix has been making quick, small offers to shoppers that are hurt at their store. The problem with that is you should not settle until you know the full extent of your injuries, how badly you're hurt. The other problem is when Publix makes that small offer, they're going to want you to sign a settlement release. If you don't know the full extent of your injury, in that release, you're likely going to be waiving any claims for medical malpractice arising from the treatment from the accident, as well as possibly limiting your right to health insurance benefits, etc. And then if you sign that release, all your claims are forever barred. So if your injuries were to worsen, that release and that check is the end of your claim once you sign it or deposit the check. Publix is currently handling their own claims in-house, meaning their own employees are handling the claims. They used to hire an outside firm to do it, and now they're handling it themselves. Publix adjusters, one pleasant thing about claims against Publix is that the adjusters that I've dealt with in the past are all very nice, which makes the experience more pleasurable. They're also smart. And because they're smart, they may have a better understanding of your case. You may have to repeat yourself less often because they're intelligent and hopefully more thorough when they're looking at your claim. You send your request, if you've been hurt at Publix, you send your request for them to preserve the video, photos, and other evidence. You're going to send it to the Publix store you were hurt at and also the main Publix corporate headquarters. The address is here. It'll be in the link in the description of the video. Their headquarters is in Lakeland, Florida. You're going to be sure to send it via mail, certified mail. You're also going to want to fax it and email it as well. Publix will not automatically pay your medical bills or lost wages just because you're hurt at the store. Now, if you can prove that they were negligent, meaning they failed to act reasonably and that was the cause of your injuries, then legally you're entitled to recover your medical bills, out-of-pocket medical bills, lost wages, pain and suffering, etc. But just because you're injured at their store, they're not an insurer of their premises. So don't expect their insurance policy to have what's called MedPay coverage. Some smaller supermarkets may have MedPay coverage, which regardless of fault, they'll pay some of your medical bills. Now, if you are injured in a Publix parking lot, for example, or like the sidewalk outside Publix that may be owned by a mall, regardless of fault, the mall may have in their insurance policy, if they have one, MedPay coverage, which would pay for your medical bills regardless of fault. Don't expect after you've been injured for Publix to let you see the video. They have no obligation. They don't have a duty or law or requirement under the law to show you the store surveillance video of your accident. Now, if you end up having to sue them, you can pay you'd pay a fee to file a lawsuit, and also at some point the judge will require them, if store surveillance of your accident or incident exists, they'll be required to show you that. If you send Publix a letter in writing, email, fax, certified mail, requesting that they preserve evidence, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to preserve the video. The video can make or break a case, so you want to get that letter to them as soon as possible after your accident. I have to give Publix 5 stars for following up, meaning once you have a claim with them, in the past they've always been very good about checking in to see what my client's injuries were, so I have to give them points for that. Now, that being said, just because Publix follows up with you, that doesn't mean they're ultimately going to pay your claim. They can still be great about following up every month or so with you. They could still deny your claim and offer you zero. If they do that, you always have the option to file a lawsuit in court. Publix is generally well liked. Some people would argue perhaps jury verdicts for them against Publix may be slightly smaller than your average jury verdict against a supermarket that is not liked as much, just because Publix does a lot in the community in Florida and local communities as well, so that may or may not affect your case. Now, if you're married, that may have a slightly larger effect on your claim if you have a claim against Publix, and that is because in the settlement release and on the check, they may insist that the settlement check includes your spouse's name, and if you don't like that, you may have no option other than to, Publix may not agree to remove your spouse's name from the check or release. Whereas in a small auto accident claim, if the insurance policy limits are low and your injuries are very large, the insurance company may quickly agree to remove your spouse's name from the release and settlement check. That means you got to be on good terms with your spouse. Now is the time, if you're injured, to become buddy-buddy with your spouse. It can make it very difficult if you don't get along with your spouse, and your spouse his name is on the check or release, and then they smell that money's on the way. Publix does not remove cases to federal court, whereas some other larger supermarkets, or in particular stores, may remove a case to federal court. And that just means in federal court, cases generally move faster, and some judges are more likely to dismiss a claim in federal court as opposed to state court. There's a lower likelihood that Publix is going to really negotiate the language in the release. And the importance of that is when you sign a release, you want to be sure to not give away your rights. I have a whole article I've written about releases. It's a very long article. Releases are very specific. There's a lot of law regarding releases. And the releases, when they pay you the check at the end, they're also going to send you a release that says you're releasing them from all liability. But there's a lot more than that. But just understand that because they don't have a duty to act in good faith in terms of handling the personal injury claim, don't expect them to give you too much wiggle room on negotiating the release. And in every case I ever have myself, I do all I can to negotiate or attempt to negotiate the settlement release. Some would argue Publix pays better than other supermarkets solely because Publix has more money to pay a claim. I think it's on a case-by-case basis. Now, Publix employees, Publix, as you may know, if you've shopped at the same Publix for a while, they tend to keep their employees for very long periods of time. That means the employees are generally going to be more loyal and, generally speaking, all things equal, more likely to give favorable testimony for Publix on their behalf, which can make your case more difficult, as opposed to a claim against a smaller supermarket whose employees may turn over a lot, and by the time your case, a lawsuit's filed, or even before a lawsuit's filed, the employee may not be with the store anymore, and the store may not have the benefit of getting that employee's favorable testimony, or that employee may actually be mad at the store. Now, never give a recorded statement ever to a Publix adjuster. You have zero duty to do so. Giving a recorded statement, all it's going to do, from my experience, is decrease the value of your case. Publix, under the law in Florida, has to give you a copy of your statement if you sign a written statement after the accident scene. The negative is you can't do much before filing a lawsuit to get the statement. You can ask them and they can say, too bad, so sad. If it gets into a lawsuit, a judge will require them to give you that statement, your statement. Now, according to an Orlando Sentinel, which is a newspaper in Florida, article in 2013, Publix and another large business in Florida actually lobbied to try to reduce the amount of personal injury claims. I'm not going to get into that too much, but just understand that they're not looking to make large payouts for claims, as most large businesses are not. Now, there's many different insurance adjusters that work at Publix. There's also many other types of accidents. But for right now, I'm going to just keep it simple. My name is Justin Ziegler. Again, call us at 888-594-3577 if you've been injured at a Publix in Florida or anywhere else. I'd love to help you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like this video. Our office is in Miami. I would love to help you and represent you.